everybody. Dan Illman here with the DRF race of the day for Sunday, November the 3rd. It's the Grade 3 $135,000 Gray Stakes, race number 9 at Woodbine, an important race for the 2-year-olds up at Woodbine this type of year. Let's take a look at this field. We're going 1 mile and a 16th on the synthetic. 10 horses entered, and it's a very competitive group. I don't think there's a true standout in this race. So we'll throw up the Timeform US pace projector and see where our friends at Timeform US have this field after the first half mile or so. And the 6, He's Not Joking, has good tactical speed. The 8, Cool Collected, is fast, and so is the number 9, No Time. But keep an eye on the number 1, Shifty, because this horse showed good speed 2 starts back in a sprint and earned a big Beyer speed figure that day. We're going to start our analysis off with the number 1, Shifty, who's kind of the key to this race in several ways. She's a filly taking on the boys, who's also cross-entered in the Mazarine, so she's not a certain starter in this race. But if she runs here, she might add some speed to the party, especially breaking from the inside post. 2 starts back, she did make the lead in the sprint. She didn't have to go very fast, and it was a pretty uncontested lead. But she sprinted on home, and it wasn't like she was speed crazy. She seemed to rate very comfortably on the lead, waited for her jockey's command to push the button, and then she went on with it. She then shipped down to New York for a tough 2-turn test, and she faced a very good group. Several horses that are coming back in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies Turf earlier this weekend. The 5th place horse came back to run second in the Chelsea Flower, just missing with a 71 Beyer speed figure in New York. We'll see how far Shifty wants to go. We'll see if she can transfer that good form on turf to synthetic, but I think she's a strong contender based on that Beyer speed figure from 2 starts back. The number 2 is Faber, and Faber exits a similar race as several of these horses. Took advantage of a fast pace, came very, very wide into the stretch. I thought a little bit green, but this is a horse that still has some upside potential after only 2 starts. He's going to be hoping for a fast and contested pace to adequately set up his late kick. The number 3 is Tap It, Kiss It, Win It. And let's watch this one's most recent start. This one is now 2 for 2 in his career. He is very tactical. He is very visually impressive. If you're a Beyer speed figure handicapper, you're a little bit concerned because these races are slow compared to the top contenders in this race. But as we all know, 2-year-olds can improve by leaps and bounds from start to start this time of year, and Tap It, Kiss It, Win It has shown innate natural ability. This horse has a ton of upside potential. Will this be too much too soon? We'll find out. But from a visual standpoint, he sure looks good. Ready to Battle is up next, and this horse is dropping in class, and he is already a winner on the synth, which is kind of key because many of these horses have already started on turf. Not only is he a winner on the synth, not only is he dropping in class, he's getting Lasix back on, so there are a lot of angles here for Ready to Battle. A horse that could be a good price, and is another horse that has some tactical speed. I think the number 5, DeWolf, is a very strong contender in this race, and we'll see my picks a little bit later. I'm beginning to regret I don't have him a little bit higher up in my selections, because he was part of an early fast pace last time out. He sat just off, but then he made the first move just as the pace heated up, turning into the stretch at Woodbine, made the lead, and understandably got tired late. I thought it was an underrated performance, and I think he can sit back off the leaders this time around. The big question for him is not class. He was favored in that race, and he ran quite well. It's surface. He's going to be racing on the Tapeta for the first time. But I think this horse has some quality and the right running style, and he might be dirtied up. I just think circumstances worked against him last time out. He's Not Joking is a horse that I think has some distance questions to answer. I thought he looked pretty good winning his maiden on the lead that day, striding home in the stretch. Thought he was getting a little bit tired at the end of that 7-furlong affair, and maybe He's Not Joking, again, stepping up and taking on better horses around a longer distance could be too much. I have a tremendous amount of respect for this barn, however. Let's watch the debut for a fascinating invader from the United States. That's the 7, Vamos Carlitos, who made the debut in an off-turf race for Jonathan Thomas, who's just been knocking it out of the ballpark with horses shipping up from the States to Woodbine and moving to the synthetic surface this meet. This was a very sloppy track. Vamos Carlitos made a 4-wide bid on the second turn, made the lead, kept right on going. Again, this trainer is going great guns right now, picking out perfect spots at Woodbine. Vamos Carlitos earned a very respectable Beyer speed figure, albeit on the sloppy dirt. Now going to have to prove it on the synthetic. This is a confident move in class for a barn that's doing well. Cool Collected is up next. I thought this horse was a perfect trip maiden winner 3 starts back. but was just overmatched last time out and is getting a drop in class. Timeform US believes this horse can actually make the lead in here, and if he does and is able to slow down the pace, we might be able to see Cool Collected take this field a long way at what should be a decent price. I wish I saw a little bit more in the last race, even though I realize he was probably in way over his head. No Time, like DeWolf, was chasing a very fast pace last time out, and DeWolf went right by him turning into the stretch, but No Time was kind of drifting in a little bit, got bumped off stride for a stride or two, and then finished okay just to finish behind DeWolf. This horse is going to, I think, get a good trip in this race. Tracking a horse like Cool Collected, or maybe even He's Not Joking, sitting 3 wide, getting the jump on DeWolf, perhaps this time turning for home, and maybe on the synthetic surface, we'll see No Time get back to one of his big efforts. Again, I thought last time out just too close to a pace that was very, very fast. He and DeWolf, I think, were compromised the most, and I think they ran better than it looks in that race. Completing the field is Thundering, who's stretching out in distance off this upset victory, and I thought this horse looked very good doing so sprinting. The problem that I have with Thundering coming into this race is, A, he's going to have to deal with a very difficult outside post position. B, he's going to have to stretch his ability around 2 turns for the first time after winning this race, the Display, which was his maiden victory. I do think Thundering has a lot of upside potential. It'll be interesting to see how he is bet in here. I think if he is dismissed and underrated at something like 5 or 6 to 1, he's certainly playable. Anything less than that, I might try to fade him and go with some of the more established contenders. Before we take a look at my top selections, please click the subscribe button on the Daily Racing Form YouTube channel for the latest DRF videos. Top pick time for me in here. This was a very tough race. I do think DeWolf and No Time are going to run very well. I landed on Shifty in here, hoping that maybe this horse can rate and work out a good trip breaking from the inside. That is, even if she starts in this race, because she's also cross-entered against the girls in the Mazarine. It's the Gray 2-year-olds and some good 2-year-olds up in Canada on Sunday for our DRF race of the day. Best of luck.
Hey friends, you look like you're in need of a winner. If you enjoyed the great content right here, just click and subscribe right here and enjoy the great DRF.com race of the days, the phenomenal stakes previews, and so much more. Many of that content featuring me and my exceptional selections. Trust me, you won't regret it.